Yo, what's good, fam? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we've got a wild one for you. We're talking about what might be the biggest legal backfire in hip-hop history. Drake's defamation lawsuit over Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us just completely blew up in his face. Drake tried to take the beef to court, and now he's getting sued twice. The whole culture is looking at him like, be careful what you wish for, beloved. The irony is wild, the karma is real, and hip-hop isn't letting this one slide. Let's break down how it all went left for the Six God. Here's what we're covering today. Drake's original lawsuit against UMG and Spotify, what Not Like Us actually said, why Drake thought it was defamation, and how the hip-hop community clapped back.
So what about this clip, Drake?
Drake just text me!
Oh, Drake texted you? That's lovely. What did he say? It can't be anything about having you potentially spread defamatory content to your audience. It couldn't be. Stay on stream.
We'll also get into the first countersuit that hit Drake, the second lawsuit that just dropped, and how both are directly tied to his own legal move. Then we'll talk about why this might be the biggest L Drake has ever taken, what it means for the culture, and where this leaves his reputation in the game. Now, why does this matter? Because this isn't just about one lawsuit, or even three. This is about a fundamental question. Do we handle beef in the streets or in the courts? Hip-hop has always had a code. Handle your business with bars, not lawyers. Drake broke that code, and now he's facing legal, financial, and most importantly, cultural consequences. Once you break the code, all bets are off. Let's get into it. So, let's start with the original lawsuit. On November 25th, 2024, Drake filed a pre-action petition in Manhattan, naming Universal Music Group and Spotify as defendants. The claim? That they artificially inflated Not Like Us streams and promotion, with allegations of bots, payola, and playlist manipulation. But buried in that filing were defamation claims about the song's content. Drake's team argued that the track contained false and defamatory statements, especially about his behavior and character. It was a strategic move, using every legal angle possible. But let's be real about what Kendrick actually said on Not Like Us. He called out Drake's relationships with younger women, dropped that certified pedophile line, harsh, sure, but it's a diss track. He questioned Drake's authenticity, credibility, and character, called him a culture vulture, and even questioned his crew's loyalty. But yo, this is battle rap. Nas called Jay-Z gay on Ether. Pat claimed he slept with Biggie's wife on Hit 'Em Up. 50 Cent called Ja Rule fake tough. This is the game. Hyperbole, accusations, character attacks. That's what battle rap is built on. Drake's legal argument was that these weren't just bars, that UMG knew they were false and promoted the song anyway for profit. He basically wanted labels to fact-check diss tracks before releasing them. But imagine if every diss track had to be legally vetted. Ether would have never dropped. Hit 'Em Up would have been blocked. The story of Adidon would have been dead on arrival. Drake was trying to create new rules because he was losing under the old ones. And that's wild. The hip-hop community wasn't having it. Social media exploded. You can't take rap beef to court. This is snitching. Handle it with bars, not lawyers. Even Drake's own fans were uncomfortable. Everybody knows the code. You don't sue over a diss track. That's literally the point of battle rap. Drake basically admitted he couldn't beat Kendrick musically, so he tried to beat him legally. And that's not just weak. That's a straight-up violation of hip-hop culture.
There's no way I'm reading what I'm reading right now, dog.
But there were certain Drake tracks. Guess what? They were monetized.
It looked like UMG allowed me to get money off of this one too.
Prioritizing revenue over Drake's safety.
The red button.
Let me call a lawyer. Is there any play in a countersuit with Drake's lawsuit?
You were mentioned in the lawsuit, but you weren't sued.
These are the motherfucking, the heavyweights.
Anthony Fantano wasn't there. That's kind of crazy. I thought he was his biggest op.
All I have in my head is Drake.
Universal Music Group responds to Drake's defamation lawsuit. Not only are these claims untrue, but the notion that we would seek to harm the reputation of any artist, let alone Drake, is illogical.
Last night, it was announced that Drake actually withdrew those petitions, right?
This is soft. This is a soft move by Drake.
You throwing Reactors names out there? You
So what about this clip,
They've also
Drake?
called out the YouTuber Zion.
Oh, Drake texted you? That's lovely. What did he say? It can't be anything about having you potentially spread defamatory content to your audience. It couldn't be. Stay on stream.
Drake has just texted me. We can't help them niggas ain't put claims on that stuff. That ain't our fault. That's a lot. When it first dropped, we had all of, let's just see, 19 days.
I've never seen a nigga rebrand a lawsuit.
UMG permitted content creators such as
To monetize reactions to not like us without enforcing copyright.
Reactors don't be reacting to songs all the time to make money. Sometimes it's just to get in the algorithm, to get the sub, to get the growth.
This is these people's job. And this is the littest content that they could put out. Y'all tripping.
oh, he f***ed with Kai? Or does he feel like Kai switched up on him because he reacted to the song?
We was happy about the beef as a whole. Y'all was going track for track. You a great artist. I'll give you that all day long. I promise you.
This is fucking lame. Like, Drake is a fucking loser, bro.
This is not a good look for Drake.
It makes no sense. You think niggas was not gonna react to that?
Drake, you ain't hip hop, bro. There's no way. I feel like if Drake would have won, none of this would have happened.
Something's wrong with you, bro.
It's like losing a basketball game and then suing because the other team scored too many points. The absurdity speaks for itself to anyone in the culture. Now, let's talk about the backlash.
Hey, why am I in this shit? I'm getting sued?
Drake!
Part of your family whose YouTube channel has 1.44 million subscribers
posted a video depicting the image of using the record.
Look at this shit. He got Cartier family.
Actually, we did get a copyright claim, and then he took him out.
Okay, safe. There we go. His life was at stake in a rap beef.
Oh, this gotta be the softest ever, dog.
Facts.
Man, can't be going out there saying their names.
And so streets were saying like, okay, maybe he's coming to his senses. Ooh, that was silly of him to do, right? Fast forward to today.
You're trying to strike a chord, and it's probably A minor.
Oh my God!
Not a colleague, you a fucking colonizer.
He called that a slave owner, bro.
Bro, what?
Artists came out of the woodwork to clown Drake. Rick Ross posted, laughing at the situation. The Game said beef needs to stay in the music. Joe Budden called it unprecedented and problematic. Even artists who weren't part of the feud felt uneasy, because if Drake could sue over Not Like Us, then anyone could sue over any diss track, which would destroy battle rap as we know it. Media personalities piled on. Even academics, usually Team Drake, couldn't defend this one. Other platforms called it the weakest move in hip-hop history, comparing it to snitching or calling the cops. Legal experts in the culture also weighed in, saying Drake's case was weak. The First Amendment protects artistic expression, and diss tracks have legal precedent on their side. This lawsuit looked like desperation, not a legitimate legal move. Twitter and X went crazy. Memes roasted Drake for being soft, and jokes about him suing over hurt feelings spread fast. People compared it to classic disses that, under Drake's logic, would have turned into lawsuits. Imagine Jay-Z suing over Ether, or Biggie suing Pac over Hit 'Em Up. The consensus was clear. Drake took the biggest L possible.
The biggest L's come from not knowing how to take an L.
You're not mad at Kossinat. You're not mad at Zeus. You're not mad at No Life Shack. You're not mad at any of these guys. You mad at RDC World.
I made a song called Family Matters, and he drops a song called Meet the Grams. Okay, y'all must think I'm fucking stupid. Who's the mole?
Nigga, go ahead and drop the next one tomorrow.
Huh? What'd you say? What? What the fuck? You literally alleging that us getting, not us, not people us. That was named. Yeah, the people that ain't shit. They would not have even reacted to it if they wasn't getting paid.
What?
We probably would have paid to react to you.
How come Aiden Ross isn't in this lawsuit? You're really trying to speed run losing respect.
Drake is basically upset because he's like, hey, I'm your golden child. Like, y'all gonna boost this song up?
Karen ass nigga, I don't like this nigga. What is this, bruh?
To me, this is a career killer.
It's like, do we even want to react to your shit now?
At the end of the day, hold this. I'm gonna put an L right there.
But wait, it gets even crazier. Right after Drake's lawsuit, the first countersuit hit. The claim? That Drake's own legal action caused damages. Someone mentioned in the filings, maybe an artist, maybe a company, argued that Drake's lawsuit created real harm. Their point was simple. Drake's legal move didn't just target Kendrick. It threatened the entire culture. The argument was that if Drake won, it would set a dangerous precedent, chilling artistic expression across hip-hop, creating legal risks for diss tracks, and hurting the industry as a whole. The plaintiff basically said, "You're trying to change the rules, and that hurts me." This countersuit was strategic. If Drake could sue for defamation over a diss track, then others could use that same logic to sue him for the consequences of his actions. It was the ultimate reversal, turning Drake's own weapon back on him. The irony was perfect. Drake opened the door, and now people were walking through it to come after him. The legal principle here is simple. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. Drake set the precedent. Now he's subject to it. He thought he was being clever, using the legal system because he could win musically. We'll sue them for defamation, right? But he didn't see the counter coming. Now he's the one defending himself in court, spending money on lawyers for a lawsuit he started. Every headline reads, Drake sued after suing, making him look like he started something he couldn't finish. In hip-hop terms, he took a shot and got hit with a counter. Except this time, instead of bars, it's legal motions. And those are a lot more expensive and time-consuming. The hip-hop community loved it. People were saying, that's what he gets. Karma was in full effect. You reap what you sow. The schadenfreude was real because everyone felt Drake had violated the code. So seeing him face consequences felt like justice. Not legal justice, but cultural justice. The code being enforced, even if not by Kendrick directly.
Uh-oh. Once you open Pandora's box, you cannot close it. Ladies and gentlemen, before we get... Drake is getting sued again. Drake out here collecting lawsuits like infinity stones, and I ain't gonna lie to you. This is crazy. The irony of you going through all of this right now. The way that nobody's gonna be on your side and you can't have any sympathy because now the rabbit got the gun is crazy. Breaking news. Drake has been sued for a second time this week. October is looking like an awful month for Drake. You had 2 lawsuits, yang, out the giddy up, yang. You got your case dismissed and embarrassed in front of everybody, yang. Woo! Maybe November. Well, shit, maybe November. Maybe she said November, then he goes, no VO. No VO? Come on.
Or in this case, it's other parties stepping in to correct a violation. This is how the culture polices itself. Not through official institutions or judges in robes, but through collective response and cultural consequences. When someone crosses the line, the culture checks them. And that's exactly what's happening to Drake right now. But yo, just when you thought it couldn't get any worse for him, a second lawsuit drops. Different plaintiff, different angle, but the same root cause, Drake's original legal play. This new lawsuit claims that Drake's actions cause real harm, whether that's financial damage, reputational fallout, or setting a precedent that threatens the creative foundation of hip-hop itself. The pattern is clear now. Drake's lawsuit didn't just make headlines. It opened the floodgates. Multiple parties saw what he did and thought, if Drake can sue over a diss track, then we can use those same legal arguments against him. It's like he built a trap for someone else, only to fall straight into it himself. This is what happens when you open a legal Pandora's box. Once you invite the courts into the culture, you lose control of what comes next. Drake thought he was making a calculated power player move, a chess play to flip the narrative. But what he didn't calculate were the ripple effects, the backlash, and the legal chaos that would follow. Now he's in the middle of a storm of his own creation. Multiple lawsuits, multiple legal teams, each case draining more money, more time, more energy. Every headline about these suits chips away at his image. Every filing reminds the world that he started this. The domino effect is brutal. The first lawsuit, bad optics, cultural violation. The second, proof of a pattern, painting Drake as a problem. And if there's a third, nobody would be surprised. Drake's officially become the poster child for be careful what you wish for. Legal commentators are already breaking this down. They're pointing out how vulnerable he made himself by being the first to weaponize the courts in a rap beef. In legal terms, he's opened the door to counterclaims. In cultural terms, he's made himself an easy target for anyone with a grudge or a point to prove. And there's this thing in law called the clean hands doctrine. It basically means you can't come to court asking for justice if your own hands aren't clean. And that's where it gets messy. Because when it comes to Drake, people have receipts. His history of alleged cultural appropriation, questions about authenticity, and past controversies, all that could be dragged into discovery. That process alone could be brutal. Every email, every text, Every internal document that might even slightly relate to this case could end up in the hands of lawyers, and possibly in the public record. Stuff Drake probably never wanted anyone to see could become courtroom evidence. And let's not forget about the cost. Drake's original lawsuit already meant shelling out for a top-tier legal team, filing fees, and months of preparation. Then the first countersuit drops. Now he needs a defense team. The second one, another set of lawyers. Each case adds more hours, more fees, and more stress. If these cases actually go to trial, you're looking at millions in legal fees. Even if he technically wins, which is a long shot, it's a hollow victory. He's spending a fortune just to stay afloat. And it's not just the money that's bleeding out, it's the time spent in depositions, strategy meetings, and court appearances. Time not spent in the studio, not performing, not creating. Every day tied up in litigation is a day Drake isn't being an artist. Then there's the reputation cost. Every article, every tweet, every podcast mentioning Drake sued after suing adds another dent to his image. The public perception is turning. The memes, the think pieces, the commentary. It's endless. And the worst part? He didn't have to do any of this. He could have just taken the L musically, dropped another hit, reminded people why he's one of the best to ever do it, and moved on. Instead, he dug in deeper, and now he's trapped in a legal mess of his own making. This might go down as the most expensive L in hip-hop history, not just in money, but in credibility. So what does this mean for hip-hop as a whole? Drake's lawsuit and the tidal wave of counteractions that followed has set a dangerous precedent. If his approach had worked, diss tracks could have become legally risky. Imagine rappers having called their lawyers before dropping a verse. Labels could start blocking releases out of fear of lawsuits. Artists might start self-censoring. That raw, competitive, no-holds-barred energy that defines hip-hop, gone. But if these countersuits succeed, the message will be clear and permanent. You can't use the courts to win a rap beef. The legal system can't protect your ego. It can't stop you from getting dissed. And it won't rewrite the rules of the culture. Because at its core, hip-hop isn't about legal maneuvering or technicalities. It's about skill, creativity, and heart. Battle rap, diss tracks, competition. These are the lifeblood of the art form. Taking it to court kills that spirit. In street culture, calling the cops or lawyering up over a personal feud is seen as snitching. And hip-hop, since day one, has lived by a code adapted from that same principle. Handle your beef in the booth, not in the courtroom. And that's what this whole situation reminds us of, that the code still matters. The culture still enforces it. And no matter how big you are, how rich you are, or how many hits you've got, you're not bigger than the code.